I wanted to play a song, and it's a song from Mandy, and I hope I don't embarrass Mandy by playing her music here. But I think it'd be great to get us
Oh,
started.
thank you.
Yeah. I wanted to play a song. Oh, and here I'm coming live on YouTube. See, you can hear me twice because I'm so nice.
That's true.
Okie dokie. And where am I? This is, okay, this is YouTube. I got to remember what I have open and where. And okay to that. And too much technical stuff. And I'm a new technical person. Here we go. All right. This is a song I'm quite taken with. So this is called Choose Only Love. And we will meditate in on this.
It's breaking up quite a lot, Lynn, darling.
Oh, it is okay.
Yes,
If
I think
something is not going right, then
it
hang
may
on.
be that it's not high in a high enough resolution sound wise for
Let
it
me
to.
see. It might be that this, oh, you know what? It's because I'm not sharing. I'm glad you mentioned that because that definitely I was sharing from the wrong. There we go. Let's start again. This is All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here today. Um, right now, for our discussion of Is-ness is Your Only Business by our dear friend Mandi. And we had talked before we came on, we had a little discussion about a situation where I know I've mentioned to you all, um, not everyone, I'm sure not everyone has heard this, but that I've been invited to go to Scotland in September for a gathering of some really amazing people, or so it seems. And so, uh, along with that invite, of course, comes the thing of how am I going to get there? And I wanted to say that what the person who invited me, and I'm not going to mention names here, um, because we are live streaming, and I don't really want to put anybody on the on the hook here. But the person who invited me said that they would pay for a part of the trip. A part of the trip is the travel that I have to pay for. And when I mentioned to that person, well, I really can't afford that, they said, well, maybe you could do like a GoFundMe or something of that nature, and talk to your friends and see if people would be willing to donate. And that's where the problem came up, actually, because what happens to me when I get in a thought, well, I need something and I need something from someone else. um, I don't feel worthy to be asking, for one thing. And I also think, it seems very selfish of me to be asking for something that I know any single one of us would be overwhelmed with joy to have the opportunity to do it. And so for me, why should I be special? Why should why should, and again, the person said to me, well, give people a chance to give, give people a chance to give, just like you like a chance to give as well, which I do. I love to give to people. And so the whole question of money versus worthiness, those are the two things that I'm looking at. Is, I feel like, first off, asking for money is not a worthy thing to ask for. Let me just stop there and ask if anybody has any thoughts about that, or any uh yes, Karen, please go ahead.
Hi, Lynn. Hi, everyone. Um, yeah, first of all, I just want to thank Doug for reminding me of this today and inviting me because I forgot all about it. And now I'm really happy that I'm here and I heard what you just shared. Money is just part of the illusion. It's paper strips. It's nothing. It's nothing. And, you were so gracious and giving and generous to me when I had my surgery. You started a fund for me that I didn't feel worthy. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Like, all this love was pouring in for me. And then once I started to receive it, I felt so grateful. But the first thought was unworthy. Yes, I have to admit that's the ego speaks first and loudest, but this is extending love. This is a chance to extend love. And if this person that, is paying part of your fee or whatever price for traveling, if he feels you're worthy enough to do that, then that's just that just proves right there that you are worthy. But you are worthy regardless. You're worthy regardless. And it is a chance, like you said, to give. And it's also a chance to extend love and full appreciation for all that you do, and that now you want to do something. And you're so selfless, Lynn. You are so selfless. You devote your whole life every single day to this health talk, Zoom. You do it all. I mean, so my goodness, if anyone's worthy, you are. And I'm not trying to make you special, but I would love to donate for you. And I think that we should, now I don't like to use the word should. I think it would be nice if we did something like you did for me and just have everyone donate. And so you can go to this trip. That's how I feel. And I love you. And you are so deserving and so worthy. And I am so happy that I'm here, that I've got to hear this, because I just want you to know that. And I am so grateful for you and all that you do. Thanks.
Thank you, Karen. You know, it's when you said that that person felt I was worthy, that kind of shocked me a minute because, you know, I've been, you know, muddling this over as well. You know, what I didn't even think this person liked me. I don't know. I mean, I thought, you know, I thought they just kind of, but that's because my own projection of my own self. I always think that I'm just too, too much. That's all. I just always think that I'm just too much. And I can't believe that people could like me. So thank you for saying that, Karen. It really, that switched something up in me as well. Rafi, please go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of what has just been said pretty much covers it, but there's a couple of other things. First of all, giving and receiving are the same thing. So you're receiving and other people are giving, you give and other people receive. What's the difference? There is no difference. The other thing, that this undeserving business, I mean, what a load of crap. Seriously, you made in God's image. God expresses through you as you. Where did you ever get the idea, the temerity? Did you get the idea that you're not worthy, since we are all equal? And God doesn't pick and choose. Loves all equally. And since there's no common condemnation, there's no need for forgiveness or anything else. Or, gee, I don't know, can I? I mean, you're identifying with your body. You're identifying with that ego concept of, I'm not good enough. I don't deserve this. And what a lot of nonsense. If you could just be the divine presence that you are, and take that and just stand back and take that whole ego mind collection and just put it over there where it belongs and not has anything to do with you. And let this divine power that it divinely provides for, divinely protects, divinely guides, okay, and let that do its job. Why would we want to mess with that? Why would we want to go? No, wait a minute. There's no wait a minute. Take care. Let that do its job, because eventually it's doing it only for us, and the us that it's doing it for is what we are. That. So there's no separation. So if you're not separate from that, how could you possibly be unworthy? You just see that's crap coming from the ego mind, and you need to, well, just drop it. That would be my take on that whole thing.
Thank you, Rafi. I love that. I love that. And I just I feel like I've just got a little bit of a scolding in the the most loving thing. Thank you, Rafi. God bless you. What a treasure you are to us so much. Dove, please go ahead.
Okay, well said, both Rafi and Karen. I'm going to say something very short and sweet. Worthiness and money live in two different worlds. You know, the world of worth has nothing to do with, it's almost like oil and water. Worth is your holy water. This is oily. There's two different worlds. So I would just say, when you're focused on your worth, don't even think about the money. The money will come if, as a matter of fact, you truly want to go. If you truly want to go, the money will come.
Thank you, Dove. And I think you're absolutely right. And I also think that, you know, somehow something you just said about if I truly want to go, of course, I want to go. It's like a dream uh, trip, something I've always wanted to go there ever since like the early 70s when I first heard all the wonderful things that were happening there. I've always wanted to go there. And when, he said that was where it was, and I was just so blown away uh, by it. And again, just the same thing. Uh, and I think about, yeah, I'm conditioned to believe, I'm poor and I can't afford anything. So that's that's my own conditioning, but it has nothing to do with my reality. Mandy, please go ahead.
Well, I just wondered if Rafi didn't wanted to add to his point before I spoke. So can I just wait until Rafi spoke? And
Sure,
is that
absolutely. Absolutely. Please go ahead, Rafi.
Ask and you shall receive. Hello, does that ring a bell? Yeah, once you commit to something, that universal spirit floods in to support it. And it's just like what Dove said. I'm just extending that. Just make the commitment. I'm going, and then let the powers that is the only reality flood in and take care of it, because it's everything here is in service to us. And if you're supposed to be there, you will be there. There are no mistakes, and it's just a question of turning it over instead of saying, "I want this, I don't want that, I can do this." That's all ego mind crap. You don't need to listen to that. It's just, thy will be done. I now allow myself to go to Scotland and have the best time ever. Thank you. And let that, but it's a question of, how many times have we heard the word trust?
Yeah,
Okay. I don't think I need to say anymore.
that's it. Thank you, Rafi. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are so right. Mandy, please go ahead.
Yes, I echo what everyone said, and trust, big, big, big thing, and I share that too. I think there's just one or two things that I wanted to say is that one of the things that I hear a lot of people in, please forgive me saying this, I say it with the greatest respect, and I love you all, but one of the things that I hear the most, and I feel it's misinterpreted a bit in Course in Miracles groups, is this business of being special. People trip themselves over with, oh, but I'm not being special. I'm not trying to be special. I'm not special. Everybody's special. Oh my God, we're so special. And in that place in Scotland, it's true, there's nobody more special, because just as Rafi was saying, giving and receiving is two sides of the same coin. Being special and not being special is two sides of the same coin, except there's only one side here. Everybody's special. And there's no person, no matter how well read they are, no matter how many top spiritual people they've met over and over again, it's we are all that same oneness. And so I wish people would just drop the tendency to say, oh, but I'm not saying I'm special. Please say you're special. Please do, because you are. You see, because otherwise it's an egocentric thing to think that you're not special in a funny sort of a way, because you are God. God is special. How much more special could you get than that? And I echo you. So I'm not saying to you in this next bit, Lynn, I'm not coming to you like some preacher. I'm hearing myself say it because I need it as much, this thing of trust and worthiness. So everything that I'm saying for my own ears as well as yours and anybody who cares to listen. But then two little incidents that happened to me about how it flows in. So I've been uptight and scared about money for a lot of my life. It's been it's been the central issue that I've had to work through, this feeling that I'll have enough or all that sort of thing. Whereas for some people, it's not an issue at all. And we all have different ones. That's been mine one. Two. So just recently I accidentally, to cut a long story short, scraped somebody's car, and we stopped cars, and we said we won't put it through the insurance because that hikes up, we'll just exchange addresses. And she was saying, oh, it was your fault, it was your fault. It really was a mixture of the two, but I didn't want to argue with I didn't want to argue with her, you know. I'm not very good at arguing, confrontation. I don't want it. I just saw her as God's loving spirit as I was, and let right be done. So I just said, look, it's okay, I'll cover it, you know, just ring me with the bill for the body shop. Or and I said, so she rang me later and she said, oh, it's £180. This was very clear. And I repeated back to her, £180. That's okay, I can just cover that. £180. So it said 3 times. And 100 is very different from 300, which I heard later. Anyway, I put this money aside. And then I'd got my sort of holiday money, some of which is going towards a little holiday and this thing that we're talking about here. And so she rang up a couple of days ago and she said, so I've got the bank details for you and we're ready to pay the bill. And I said, oh, that's fine. And I said, oh, did you enjoy your holiday? Because I knew she'd been on holiday. And she said, yes. And she said, thank you for being so good about this. And I said, oh, it's fine, you know. And then I said, as I repeated, I said, so it's £180. And she went, there was a long silence. And she said, no, not 180. It's 380. Well, the shock, I could say almost killed me. It felt like somebody thrown one of those big 10-pin bowling balls, probably the heaviest one, right in my stomach. I was so shocked. And you know, yeah, I just was shocked, really, I was. So I said I'd have to put the phone down and just think about how on earth I'm going to get that money together. And then I got into a bit of fear because I thought I haven't even got £25 because just at the moment also I'm having anyway challenges. So you know, I didn't know what I was going to do, and then I looked in my holiday account, and in that holiday account was £387. And I thought, but if I give that 380, then I've got nothing all these weeks spent trying to save my holiday. And God said to me, there's just now, right now, you have exactly the amount of money. No, you have more than enough money to cover it. You have got £387. You know? So I just rang her back and I paid it. Now, at first, I felt, oh, well, it's done with. And, you know, that later on, I let the very thing that this whole book I've written talks about, and I let mine come in. And I thought I felt stupid. I felt like an idiot. One friend of mine said, you shouldn't have done that because you had nothing written down. You could have said to her, we agreed 180. That's what I'm going to pay. And I haven't got any more. I haven't got it. And you should have said that, you see. And so then I felt like worse when I got off the phone. And I thought, well, you shouldn't share it with somebody like that. Go back to what God said. What did God say? You've got it. It's there, you know. And give it with grace, knowing it'll come back, you know. And so it didn't take me long to get through this, but I shouldn't have had to have even gone there, you know. Anyway, it went. And I sent it with grace and blessing. And so I've got £7 left for my holiday. And then I thought, I'm sorry, I'll just make it as quick as possible. So then I looked at this, you know, this £7, and I thought, right, well, it's only 2 months and I've got to find this money towards this Scotland thing. And I just knew that I learned that I just wasn't something wasn't letting it flow. And then one more thing happened. Oh, there's two more tiny things. Sorry. Then I need my accordion tuning, which sounds very superficial, but it isn't. It's my work, you see, because I'm a professional accordionist. If the accordion's not in tune, and it usually costs at least 150 to tune it. Anyway, the man that does it was away for quite a long time, and I thought, well, I've got some grace, and he's only here for a short amount of time. Anyway, rang up today to say he's here now, and he's here just for a while, and I'm gonna cry. What am I gonna do? So I looked in my other holiday. There was another little holiday account, and that had £146 in, and I thought, okay, come on, all right, it's there. So I said, how much do you think it'll be? And he says, well, if there's not much wrong, it'll only cost 50, which I thought, wow. But if there's something wrong, it might cost 100. And I thought, well, you've got to keep looking at it. You've got it. So I saw something that you'll all see. But you know, it takes you sometimes years for the penny to drop, right? So the penny dropped today, I have to say, that I have to only deal with now if what I've actually got in my account, never mind what it's for, because what it's for is always in the future, isn't it? I realized. So forget the future. There is only now. And if you have it, then you pay it. And the other things that you think you needed it for, don't worry about that. Because when you let that go with grace and you give what you need to in the situation, it just floods into you. So then I went swimming today, and I saw a lady who runs a group, and I had said to her a few weeks ago, would you hire me for the group? And I said a price, and I'm very reasonable. But she said even that was a bit too expensive. So I went and changed, and then I came back and I just called and I went, Annetta, I said, look, I'd just love to do it. I love your group. I'll do it for the price you said, which was just £25, you know, which is nothing, believe me. But, you know, and she was so delighted. And she said, oh, and you must have a meal with us and you get to know the group. And I thought, well, that's £25 that I didn't have before I came in the swimming pool. And that's already started. So what I've learned, I know we all know it. We know that money's energy and it just flows. But we you know how we talk about truth, but we don't get it till we get it, do it, until it becomes our divine experience, until we, yeah. So I don't know if that's of help to anybody at all, because you've probably all learned this, but this has been a big help for me. So thank you, Lynn, for bringing this issue up, because it's opened it out. It's so valuable and, you know, marvelous. Thank you. Thanks to everybody.
Thank you for suggesting that we talk about it and look at these things, because you're absolutely right. You know, there's no point in being afraid, and because the song that I played that you sang, choose only love, that's really what it's about, is choosing the loving, what you did with the lady with the accordion. It's the choosing the loving thing to do. Choose the loving thing. Choose only what would love do in that situation, whatever it may be. How would love act and react? And you know, love wouldn't act with fear and feeling unworthy. So I think you know, what everyone has said has been so helpful to me. And so I am going to just allow that to happen. It's what Rafi said was right. That commitment was not there because of fear, because I was so, you know, the minute it came up and I went and just Googled real quick. I didn't look at itineraries or anything. I just looked, you know, from here to Scotland, and I don't even know what airport I would go to. So, you know, I just put one in and, you know, it came up this amount. And then I put in my head, that's the amount of money that I have to have. And then, you know, then I was like, well, that doesn't seem very likely. So, you know, obviously it it must not be, you know, what I'm supposed to do. Only because, you know, I was not even looking at, you know, what's the loving thing to do here, and loving for me as well as for everybody else. what's the loving thing to do. And, I don't, honestly, I don't, it just seems to me, and maybe I'm just completely, caught up in a dream, which I am most of the time, but it just seems to me that, your coming back into my life is not an accident. Your knowing this person and telling me about going to Findhorn, that's not an accident. That's not, I mean, that's really an amazing thing. And then for me to talk to that person, well, not even that. This person just called me up out of the blue, said, or, sent me a message and said, I'd like to talk. So I start talking to this person and not even thinking, obviously anything about any of this. And I mentioned it, the trip that I knew that he was going there and that he would be seeing you, and I was really happy for that. And he was the one that came up with, why don't you come? I would love for you to come, but please join us. None of that would have happened. None of that whole string of things would have happened. I would not be talking to you right even now if that hadn't have been a way, the motion of the universe. And so to set in me a desire to do something that is completely out of my comfort zone, believe me, I'm not comfortable flying overseas, all that kind of business, put me in that situation where I got out of my comfort zone and then I became afraid. And when I became afraid, I just cut off the possibilities and just said, nope, can't do it. So, this is, I mean, here's all this stuff flowing in my direction, coming here, coming here, coming here. And I'm over here going, yeah, I'm scared. But that's, that's just my own foolish thinking. So, oh, you were so sweet. I love you, Mandy. So anyway, does anybody else have any thoughts? Any thoughts at all that they'd like to share? Yes, Karen, please go ahead.
Wow, what a great opportunity to overcome that fear, Lynn. What a great opportunity. My sister lives in Miami, and I was always, I never really liked flying. I was always afraid to fly. Now, I didn't mind as much flying with other people, but I was always afraid to fly by myself because I have been to visit her with other people. Well, this time I was just me going, and I just had this like sense of freedom and within myself because I was going through a lot of changes at that point in my life. And I said, you know what, I am going to go on that plane. I'm going to overcome this fear because it was just a belief. It was just a belief, just like, the Course says, that we never separated from God. It's just the belief that we think we separated. So I went on that plane by myself. I had the best time. I was so happy. I felt so free. And then the fear was gone. I never feared it again. I could fly by myself after that. And it's just, taking that first step and knowing that, this is just a fear. It's not the truth. It's just a belief. And I wanted to be free. And that's what you want. You want to be free. And you really want to go to Scotland more than your fear of the other things, I think. The other things are just small potatoes compared to your desire to go to Scotland and be with your friends. And how beautiful. I just think it's wonderful. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Karen. God bless you. Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. So yeah, so declaring at this very moment that I'm just going to let things be and expect only the best thing to happen. Because yeah, I really do want to do that. I really do want to do that. So thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody. Does anybody have anything else before we go? And there's Rafi. Please go ahead, Rafi.
You just hit on something, and I'd like to just expand on it a bit. I expect the best, and with thy help, will achieve the best. You say that to yourself 15 times a day. Another thing you can say to yourself: money flows to me easily, freely, abundantly, from everywhere, constantly. And repeat that a dozen times a day. It doesn't sound like much, but if you're replacing all that victim mentality, which is what you've been espousing, what you've been talking about for a long time, a victim, I can't do this, I can't do that. I mean, that's all ego. I mean, ego comes from a victim point of view. And it's time for you to take charge. And if you take charge and stand back and take responsibility for it, you're no longer the victim. You're no longer giving in to that victim mentality, which is, typically how ego functions. I got to figure out a way to suffer. I got to figure out how to deal with the suffering. And all that mind activity keeps you from the freedom that she just mentioned. I mean, freedom is our goal. Awakening, I mean, you can call, self-realization, you give it any name you want, but that's the only purpose. We ain't in this dream for any other purpose. And if you put that first, all the other stuff will fall into place. Again, we're divinely protected and provided for and guided. That omnipresence ain't going nowhere, and it's ultimately what we truly are. But if you repeat those phrases over and over again, you're reprogramming your thinking to abundance mindset, which is way better than the victim mindset that your ego would love to perpetuate. Thank you.
Thank you, Rafi. Gosh, you guys are so awesome. What a beautiful group of dear friends. I'm so grateful for you all. Let's see, where are we at here? Oh, and Nigel is in the Pal Talk room. Hi, Nigel. Good to see you, brother. All right, I am going to put up our as stated earlier when we started this little group. We are going to be going through this. Oh, look at there, how cute! Thank you, Regis, for putting Karen up there like that. We're going to be going through Mandi's book on of poems. The Is-ness is Your Only Business. And last week we read this really profound poem of what is your identity if you are not your name. And so this week we're going to go on to the next poem, which is Awareness Resting as Awareness. And who would like to read? This is let's see how many pages here. Okay, there's a couple of pages. Who would like to read this poem? Or the first couple paragraphs, whatever it is you want to read. Anybody want to read?
Let Mandi read.
Well, I don't want to put Mandi on the spot, but that's me, my ego. Mandi, would you like to read your poem?
Oh, you lot on your egos. Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. That's an
know it.
ego. Just forget the word ego even existed, because, our specialness is all God. It's all, there's no separation. We keep separating things. Special, not special. Ego, not no, ego, not ego. Just forget all that. It makes life so much easier. I was just hanging back on speaking because I just wanted to see if anybody else wanted to read, because I don't just presume to that I have to be the reader every week. I'm very happy to, but I just like to give everybody else a chance of reading. Joni's not here today, is she?
No, Joni's not here, and Sharon's not here either.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I think Sharon is traveling, visiting her family. And Dove is asking, where would I fly into in Scotland, Edinburgh or Glasgow?
I think you go to Inverness, actually.
Inverness is what I thought, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where they go.
Inverness, yeah.
And then the people club together. I'll tell you about it later. There's like a WhatsApp group, and you can everybody's on it to help each other get from there. You know, there's a taxi that goes, you know, to Findhorn, you see, from
I
there.
see.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Oh, that's great. Oh my goodness. So
So
sweet.
there's no takers, unless you would like to read it, Lynn. I'm happy to read it.
All right.
And
You know what? Let me read it.
you read it.
I feel
Yes.
like reading it. Yes.
Good.
And
Good.
then later you can read it again with your
Oh,
thoughts. Okay.
whatever you like. Yes, lovely.
All right. So let us just get comfortable and prepare to listen and to hear. And allow this to come into your heart and your being. Allow yourself to be moved and motivated. Allow yourself to feel loved and encouraged. Allow yourself to feel beloved. Awareness resting as awareness. Am I aware? If yes, how do I know? Without referring to objects that tell me so. Objects like my body, its functions and my thought, emotions, physicality, sensations of all sorts. But stripping these away, what is it that's aware? Because without all that data, what is looking? Who is there? Notice all sensations like the feel of your seat, yet dropping all opinions about coolness or heat. There is simply what is happening without any describing. No personal engagement or future prescribing about what may be next or what's been before. Just infinite space, no ceiling, no floor. When all judgment is suspended, past and future are ended. Simply in this moment, now, just rest. Complete relaxation and abidance is best. Drop any interest in what's before or ahead so that we can die before we are dead. Now let's go even deeper in order to awake, like a stone that drops to the bottom of a lake. And so our identity, just for now, dissolves away, freeing us from the thoughts that hold our interest every day. This is the key to heal all illness. Simply resting as the stillness. This is our divine birthright. We are truly bodies of the light. The one light of every woman and man is the one presence. This I am. Awareness resting as awareness, with nobody efforting or trying. The pure peace of my soul ends all searching and sighing. Nothing lacking or amiss. All is perfect as it is.
Beautiful.
And amen, amen. Anybody have, I have a zillion thoughts now because obviously this is addressing exactly what we've just been talking about. Is that awareness.
Says it all.
Yeah. Does anybody have anything they'd like to share? Am I aware? If yes, how do I know? Let's ask that question. How do I know if I'm aware? Rafi, please go ahead.
As soon as you ask the question, am I aware? It's like asking the question, am I present now? As soon as you ask the question, you are. Because awareness is is just another synonym for God. So that's about as concise as it can be. Ask the question and you are. Am I aware? Am I God? Am I present?
Yeah, exactly, Rafi. Am I here now? How do I know that? It's my experience.
Hey, you wouldn't have asked the question if you weren't.
Beautiful. Thank you, Rafi. Anybody else have any thought on how do I know that I'm aware? I mean, Rafi pretty much wrapped it up. That's for sure. But are you aware? How do you know? And when are you aware? When am I aware? I'm aware when I'm asking if I'm aware. Uh, but what are the objects without referring to objects? Tell me so. So my body, what my body does, emotions, sensations, all of these things. Is that what makes me aware? Am I aware because of that? Or am I aware from some other place? Mandi, please go ahead.
I only put my hand up because I would like to say something, but I really do want to give everybody else a chance. So that's just to let you know that I've got something to just comment on. But if there's somebody else that would like to speak before, that's absolutely
You
fine.
have the hand up. You are the speaker.
Would you be able to take it off the screen just for now? It's just my eyes, you see, it's all the white on my screen.
Okay, sure.
Oh, that's just for a minute. Well, yeah. I think well, you know, there's a line that says all judgment is ended. Something suspended, and all judgment is ended, you know. So the absence of judgment is love, isn't it? That's a quote from the Dalai Lama, and I always loved it. The absence of judgment is love, and love is just pure awareness. So so you know, when I was saying earlier about when we're cutting things up in and over examining ourselves by worrying whether we're making ourselves special or worrying whether it's ego or not ego. You see, to me, that that is efforting. When I just allow myself to be exactly me and not worry about it, I find if I've said something and afterwards I think, oh, you know, maybe I've presumed something, let's say it's that, and I don't feel great about it. I find that the quickest thing is it's jumped up to my awareness for me to see it, and then I immediately drop it. So I don't go into any self-recriminations. And the thing about love, which is poured through the A Course in Miracles and my book and all books that are written about this stuff, is that the design is not to make you feel guilty and pull yourself apart. And this is a very, very great danger of every spiritual book on earth, you know. And A Course in Miracles is split up into daily lessons. And we you know, over years we read it again and again. But this thing about worrying about the ego or not brings us into guilt, you see. The thing that kills off awareness is the things that create a veil. And the things that create a veil are self-criticism and self-condemn. Oh, there's Joni there. And hello, Joni. And self-condemnation. So I think this is the big lesson for all of us, totally me included, in all looking at all spiritual texts, is to not misinterpret it and judge, because that takes us out of awareness, you see. So that's thank you.
Thank you for that, Mandi. And that's exactly it. It's you know, our purpose here is to be in awareness and to stay in awareness, to remember our connection to God, connection with each other. That's our purpose here. And so, yes, you know, anything that keeps us in that connection, and or anything that we do from that connection, anything that we experience from that connection, That's what we should be concentrating on or paying attention to, and not our imaginations about a future state or a past state or a state of my bank account or the state of my country or those things. Those are all things that are absolutely have nothing to do with me and my connection with my source, my connection with my brothers. That's out there. So you're right. Thank you so much for that, Mandy. And please go ahead, Karen.
Thank you, Mandy. Thank you, Lynn. And thank you, Rafi. Yeah, this is a beautiful poem. And thank you for what you shared. And what stuck out to me, there's a few things that stuck out to me. One was all judgment suspended. And in the course, there's one of my really favorite lines is in chapter 15, section 5. He says, the holy instant is the Holy Spirit's most useful learning device for teaching you love's meaning, for its purpose is to suspend judgment entirely. And it's pretty much what you were sharing. It's being in the moment. And the holy instant is when I'm forgetting about the past. I'm forgetting about the future. I'm with my brother now. I'm not judging. I'm not worrying. I'm not, I'm just here, be here now, just what we were saying earlier. And that is one of the most beautiful, just for me, one of the most beautiful quotes on the holy instant. And I also love what you said, the key to heal all illness is simply resting as the stillness. That is absolutely beautiful. And it also, everything's reminding me of the course here. It just reminds me of another part of the course where it says that for no single instant does the body exist at all. And that's the holy instant again. When I'm in that holy instant, when I'm in the present moment, I can be still. I am not in the pain that I experience on a daily basis, and that there's something to that. There's something to that. It's a practice and it just takes practice and it takes noticing and this awareness that we're talking about. And then the last thing that I want to mention that stuck out to me was nothing lacking or amiss. All is perfect as it is. And that is how I really feel. I do really believe everything is perfect. Everything is happening perfectly. And when I don't think everything's happening perfectly, that's when my perception needs to be looked at. That's when I know that my perception is wrong and I need to ask to help to see things differently because everything is happening perfectly. So thank you so much. That's all.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And those are things that I noticed right away in the poem as well. Especially the business about dropping judgment, suspending judgment. But then this last one reminds me of shalom, nothing missing, nothing lacking, nothing broken. That's the peace of God. So nothing lacking or amiss, all is perfect as it is such a beautiful, beautiful ending to this. Does anybody else have? Now, welcome to everyone who just came in. I'm glad that Joni's here and Sharon. Would anybody else like to share anything, or would you like to? Since some new folks came in, I know we're almost at the top of the hour. I'm wondering, Mandy, if you would mind rereading the poem for us.
Well, thank you, and thank you for everybody's comments. Because it's just lovely, when you've written something and kind of, I suppose everybody gets, it's the same. It's a sharing, isn't it? The writer, the listener, it's all the same thing. It causes an expansion, and thank you. again, it's a real privilege. This thank you so much, Lynn. You really do give so much by doing all these calls and videos and everything, and everybody being here. It's so lovely. So I'm going to read it just as a contemplation now. So kind of thing, if you all close your eyes, and I'm just going to go very slowly through it. Okay, is that right? Yeah.
That is perfect. I love that. Thank you.
Thank you. Am I aware? If yes, how do I know? Without referring to objects that tell me so, objects like my body, its functions, and my thought, emotions, physicality, sensations of all sorts. But stripping these away, what is it that's aware? Because without all that data, what is looking? What is looking? Who is there? Notice all sensations like the feel of your seat, yet dropping all opinions about coolness or heat. There is simply what is happening without any describing. I'll just read that line again. There is simply what is happening without any describing. No personal engagement or future prescribing about what may be next or what's been before. Just infinite space, no ceiling, no floor. When all judgment is suspended, past and future are ended. Simply in this moment, now, just rest. Complete relaxation and abidance is best. Drop any interest in what's before or ahead so that we can die before we are dead. Now let's go even deeper in order to awake, like a stone that drops to the bottom of a lake. And so our identity, just for now, dissolves away, freeing us from the thoughts that hold our interest every day. I'm going to add something that's not in the poem here. So just right now, just imagine that you are a stone and you're just going deeper, deeper, deeper until you, boom, you're right at the bottom of the lake. This is the key to heal all illness, simply resting as the stillness. This is our divine birthright. We are truly bodies of the light. The one light of every woman and man is the one presence. This I am. Awareness, resting as awareness, with nobody efforting or trying. The pure peace of my soul ends all searching and sighing. Nothing lacking or amiss. All is perfect as it is.
Thank you so much, Mandy. How lovely. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, you guys, does anybody else have any comments before we close out?
Thanks. I'm glad it's recorded. Nice to see you, Mandy.
Lovely to see you, Joni, as well. Thank you. I have got, have you got a couple more minutes, Lynn?
Sure.
It's just that the thing about the work that I do is I always want to make it very practical. I want, it feels to me like my passion is to be a bridge, really, to go from the stuff that we read to how do we actually make it happen in our own lives? So I'm just going to give some very short, silly examples. It all comes back to is-ness, really, because you see, there's a split second of time this now, and at the same time, there's only now. So it's like it's in the camel and the eye of the needle thing, but it's also infinite space. So one day, really quickly, I had, and you call it something, we call something called icing sugar, which is like a white powder that you would put in a frosting to make and we call frosting icing. So we call that icing sugar, and I think you call it something else.
Powdered
Confectioner.
sugar. Or
Oh,
confectioner's sugar, you call it, don't you? That's right.
confectioner powder.
White powder, yeah. So one day, I've got somebody waiting outside to take me somewhere. So there's a bit of a pressure on. And I don't like to go out if the kitchen's a mess. I just thought I'd just wipe down the kitchen. I opened the cupboard. Sorry, I've got a cough at them. A belief in a cough. And I opened the cupboard and this whole bag, massive bag of confectioner's sugar just literally burst out and covered me like the abominable snowman with it. Not only that, it went all over the floor, and which I'd just mopped, and the surfaces which were still damp. So that meant that the surfaces were now turning from powder to frosting. The floor. And it was such a mess. And I knew that there's somebody waiting outside. Now, you see, in a situation like that, what I've learned to do is to stop. I've got this little phrase that I heard from a show that used to be on every week in England called "Stop the World, I Want to Get Off." And I just say this little phrase. It just makes me stop completely. Because you see, I didn't know what to do. I hadn't got a clue. I was in shock. So I said, "Stop the world, I want to get off." And I just put my arms by my side and I wait then. I just wait. So this is my little trick. I wait when I don't know what to do or I get a shock. Like what happened with the money before, just stop and wait for God, you know. And then I said, I don't know how to clear this up. Then the dog walks in. The dog walks in and he starts licking the floor, you see. And that gave me a little route in the minute he starts licking the floor. Of course, he got it on him as well, but he starts licking the floor. And then I listen to God. Then I get an idea, and God says to me, "There's a little handheld Hoover thingy in the shed you see outside." And I thought, no, there isn't. Well, if there is, I haven't seen it since I've moved in. And then I thought, well, even if there is, it won't have any charge left, will it? You know. It just said, again, there's a Hoover thing in the shed. So I went to the shed, you know, traipsing this confectioner's sugar all through the carpet. And I get the thing and I turn it on and it just goes, whoa. It's got this like minute bit of charge. But there was enough just to sort of take up the dry part that was on the surface. So now I had two ways in. I had the dog licking the floor and I had that. And then one idea just came after another because I got still. So then I knew that I had to use certain cloths on the surface, something different for the floor and something different for the dog. But so one after another. And I decide, whenever I say stop the world, I want to get off and never look at the clock, right? So that I'm not putting pressure about the person outside. I'm not thinking how long they're waiting. I got that kitchen and dog cleaned up within 5 minutes and it looked better than before I went out. Everything just shone. And it was amazing. And so whenever anything happens, I don't use a swear word or go, or even, oh God, you know, I just, what I allow myself to do is get still as a post, you know. And then the other thing, was I was working once helping to clean a friend's house. And it was massive. And she wanted 12 rooms doing, not only 12 rooms, but 3-course meal for 12 people, all from 9 a.m. till 1 o'clock. So I'm going crackers and I'm getting a sweat on and I'm getting frightened and upset. Then the voice, I always call it the way it just said, I want you to go as slow as possible, so slow that you don't even get warm. Oh, just said, just do exactly as I say. And get the vacuum cleaner. And instead of going zzz, 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 across the floor, go like this. Deliberately go slow and then go even slower. Well, I thought this was mad. And it said, like in a fairy tale, do not look at the clock. Don't look at your watch. I couldn't believe this. So I did all this. I went really, really slowly. And I started to find that, of course, I stopped getting stressed. I started to laugh and I started to smile. And at the end of the 4 hours, it was it just seemed like a miracle to me. I had made a 3-course meal for 12 people and cleaned all the rooms. And when I'd finished, I did look at the clock and it was 1:45. It wasn't even after 1. And when my friend came home to see what I did, she just could not believe it. And then she could, because she was a Christian Scientist and I was a Christian Scientist. So at the time, so we both knew that time was an illusion, you see. So we just had a really big laugh. But it was the biggest lesson for me, because it's this time thing that takes us out of business, isn't it? So that's all I wanted to really add, is that and it's useful to have a little phrase like "stop the world, I want to get off," or whatever you like. So it stops you looking at the clock and never thinking that you're out of time, because you can't be out of time, because that's like saying you're out of God or you're out of awareness. Impossible. So I just wanted to say that, you see. So thank you very much. Thank you, all of you.
I know I came late, but I want to tell you how practical that is, because sometimes, and I don't remember who said it, but recently someone said, that you can memorize all of the words from the book. And I would do that and play that over and over, but I didn't ever really get as often as I'd like to that present moment. I know it intellectually. I mean, I know that's what I got to do as I'm running around going, I got to get into the present moment. I got to do that. But by showing this and adding that little bit of what it's like to be connected to eternity, where time is not affected, you made it really clear that there was God in that. Something I know my ego, who's well trained, I'm undoing it, would have used to be able to do all of that within the 4 hours. No longer can I do all that for numbers of reasons, but to know that there's one in the present moment who can, if it's for, God's will. It's not like I sent a concierge notice, please God, fix this. But really, by being in the present and not demanding anything, what is for the highest good for all happens. So there's an element of trust. There's an element of eternal versus, because like you said, you could, when you're in the past or the present, you're on the timeline, and there is very incremental things that you're fighting against. So I want you to know that was very helpful, because the only little cute thing you brought up when you talked about sugar was my son at 3. We used to have a container where you put pudding and milk and then you shake it, right? The kids, we used to hand it to all the kids to shake. Well, the top wasn't on. So this 3-year-old, went like this and it just went all over. And he stopped and we all stopped. And then, because there's chocolate just dripping down his face. And the teacher and I, we were like right in front of him. And it was interesting because time stopped. And then God, what came was the gentle laughter, because I'm sure it was cold or whatever, but the shock, the shock of it. And it just shows that whatever you do, if you, pause or stop or take a breath and invite the higher power without an agenda, miraculous encounters, audacious solutions, miracles in the shift of what already is there happens. So thank you.
You're so welcome. And that is just really the meaning of let go and let God, something that we say all the time, but that's letting go. So, because when we do have these pauses, and I love pauses are great. Then we live in one big pause, because the thing is, we don't have to think of the truth or the quote or anything. We don't have to try. We don't have to should. It's like trying to be good. Who can possibly be good? God's good, the mind isn't. So why try? Forget that. Just stop. Just have pauses. and then you're automatically good because you're God. You couldn't be anything else. And yeah, it's really quite simple.
Besides your lovely poems and books, this description you're doing is very helpful. I just really want you to know how much I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks very much, Journey. Thank you.
You guys are awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And Joni and Mandy. And Mandy, I'm gonna go ahead and close. All right, does anybody else have anything that they'd like to share before we close out? I want to give everybody a chance.
I just want to say that you're awesome. You tell everybody you're awesome. You are awesome. I know we're all awesome. You are really awesome. Thank you. We wouldn't be here without you, would we?
We don't call her Saint Lynn for nothing.
Oh my goodness. My first name is Margaret. And my like 12th great grandmother is Saint Margaret, who is one of the patron saints of Scotland. And I always thought if I ever got to Scotland, I would go and find my ancient great grandmother.
She's calling you. Saint Margaret's calling you.
I
You
know.
can't just listen to her, can you?
I never even, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure everybody's related to a saint somewhere or the other along the line, but that just was surprising to me that I was named Margaret, and then Saint Margaret, whose feast day is November 16th, which is my granddaughter's birthday. I just think all these things just are so coincidental. It's like how, in time and space we made this up. So I love it.
I'm going to add I'm named after Joan of Arc, so for Joni. And I remember my mother telling my grandfather was angry because my given name is Joni, and my grandfather wanted it to be Joan. And so he talked the priest into naming me at the baptism Joan. And so he called me Joan my whole life. And my middle name is Therese, not Teresa. So it's Saint Therese. And the last part of this is I love my grandmother and my mother, and their names was Monica, which is the grandmother of Jesus. And I wanted to have that be the name. And my mom walked me up as a surrogate for my grandmother. We get there and the bishop is hard of hearing. So I hear him say that my name is Veronica, and I remember
better.
Yeah. So, but in those days we believed everything was, whatever the priest said kind of thing. And it was just funny. But anyway, you can tell we're a bunch of Catholics around here, or
I guess so.
Irish, the little bit of Irish in there.
Oh yeah. The Irish Catholicers. All right, you guys. I love you all so much. And that's how I gained my actual devotion to Mary also, because the church brought me up to love her and to be and to now I recognize myself as a mother. I have a special connection to Mary. I feel very connected to her because we're the mothers of the world. So I'm so lucky.
What is your identity if your name is not your identity?
That's right. It's the name of ancient saints. All right, you guys. I love you all so much, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Mandy, you hang on. I'm opening up on the other computer. So
Yeah, you and me can just have a little talk about.
Sharon,
yes. Oh, Sharon has her hand up. Go ahead, Sharon.
That was an accident. Maybe I something's wrong with my phone.
Let me.
Thank you, Mandy. Thank you so much. That's all. Bye.
Thank you, Sharon.
blessings, Mandy.
Oh, blessings to you too. Thanks. Oh, what a lovely group. Oh, thank you.